Okay, welcome to my Photoshop Mockup tutorial. I'm going to go through and talk about how to use some and what you need to look for when you go and design um, a Photoshop Mockup. So the first thing we need to do is we need to know what we're going to design. Um, Whether that's a business card or a magazine or a booklet, whatever it is. I mean, you've got stuff on Behance, you've got areas all over the place that show you what you can design. And it's important that you decide what you're going to design first. And the reason that is, and it sounds kind of funny, but you need to make sure your dimensions are right. If your dimensions aren't right, you'll notice that your images are a little bit off, and I'll show you how to fix that. But if they're way off, there's nothing that you can do. You'll have to do it all over again. And so one of the things that you could also do is look for mockups. So if I come here and I'm just going to go to Google and type in Photoshop mockups, and you'll see here that there's a bunch of websites. I haven't checked them all out, but there are some that are a little better than others, and they'll each have different mockups for different things. So if you click this one first, it's the 28 useful free Photoshop mockups, and so it'll give you an idea of what some of them are. And so for this one, you've got some paper that you can do. This one's some branding if you had a logo and some other things you wanted to show. This is basically to present your artwork in a way that is impressive to someone who like is a potential client or something like that, someone who'd be interested in it. So but there's posters, there's all sorts of stuff. Even you'll get into packaging and stuff like that as well if you wanted to see what your design would look like on a package. So billboards, all sorts of cool things that you can do with them. You do have to be careful. Some of them will have more than one, and I'll show you what to do in a situation like that. Like this one's got 3 different areas that you'd have to fill in with a smart object. So just be aware, when you're going through and looking at designs that have more than one thing, you're going to have to be putting a design in each of those spots. So with that, I've got a couple pulled up that I wanted to show an example of. So this one is just a poster design that I found that I like, and I just have downloaded it, and I opened it in Photoshop. So as you download them, it'll make little mock-ups. So this is a realistic business card mock-up. There's a business card mock-up here too. So if you click these folders, it'll give you the mock-up and what it would look like. So I've already opened some that I have, and this is what you'll see when you first open them up. So this is a poster, and then I've got a business card mock-up, and then I have kind of an iPad and or an iPhone mock-up. So you'll be able to put something on these screens, as you'll see. So we'll go ahead and start with the poster. As you look at it, you'll see here you've got a couple things on this right side. I don't know if you've got your Photoshop set up like I do, but this is just the layers panel. You'll look over here, you've got the info, you've got this red section. They label them pretty nice, so they're pretty easy to navigate. You've got, this is where we're going to be placing our design, but you've also got their other sections here and stuff that they've done to this poster to make it look the way that it does. You can see here it's got a little bit of a grunge, it's got some shadow and some texture, and so you can remove that and make it a little bit simpler, or you can keep it how it is. I'm just going to keep it how it is for right now. I'm going to get rid of this info right here because I don't need it, and you won't need it as well. And so if you mess up, you can hit Control Z if you wanted to bring something back that, or Command Z on a Mac to bring that back up. So delete this. So what we're going to do is I've already got my poster opened, and I have this poster here. So the poster that I'm going to be putting on is right here. So this is the poster I designed that I wanted to put in that Photoshop mockup to have it display for me. And so what I usually do is I grab this square marquee tool, and my layers are all flattened, it's all one image. Make sure that you do that. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight, or I'm gonna cover the whole area, and I'm gonna copy that. And I'm gonna come back over here to the Photoshop mockup page of the poster. I'm gonna double click this little shape here in the corner. So it brings me up to what they're using as their smart object screen. I don't want to use theirs, and so I'm going to go ahead and paste mine over top. And so you'll notice that mine came in and it's kind of large, and that's just because the poster that I designed is a lot bigger than the resolution of their Photoshop mockup. And so there's a way to fix that. So I'm going to hit Command T so I can use the transform tool, and I'm going to shrink this down so that it'll fit into this screen. And you notice that proportionally their screen is a little bit larger than mine. I designed my poster to be a certain size, and their Photoshop mockup screen is a little bit different proportionally, but there's a way to fix it. So what I usually do is I'm going to select this layer behind the layer that they use, and I'm going to match it to be my color, because my poster will look fine with just an extra black on the bottom. So I go to color overlay, and I'm going to click this, I'm going to find the black that I used, and just copy it so it matches what I've got. So now that I've got this all done, I've got it positioned how I like it, I'm going to go ahead and click X here, and it's going to go ahead and load that onto the Photoshop mockup page that I was using. I'm going to close this, hit save, and as you can see, it went ahead and loaded my poster on top of the effect that I wanted, or on the Photoshop mockup. And they applied some textures, it looks like. They've got some other things over top of my poster, which I find that looks really cool with what it was going for the look that I wanted. So the second one that we've got here is a business card. So business cards tend to look really nice as Photoshop mockups. That way you don't have to go print a stack of your own and show it. It's a great way to present to a client and stuff like that as well. So if you look here, this one's about the same as the other Photoshop mockup. You've got this green section right here and a section that's the background. If you take the background away, that's all you see is just that mockup. And so right here, I'm going to go ahead and double click it just like I did the other one. I've got their design here. I'm just going to cover it with mine. So I've got a little business card that I did a while ago that I just thought I could use as an example. I've already grabbed the square tool. I've highlighted it. I just copy that. I'm going to bring it over top of my one right here. I'm going to paste it. Again, it's a little bit too big. I'm going to hit Command T or use the transform tool to fit it to match this. Since mine are bigger than the space, it's okay for me to stretch it. If your design is too small, you need to go back and design it larger. It's always easier to scale down and it won't pixelate, but if you scale up, it will, and it won't look very good. So I just put it over top. I don't need to mess with the replace me underneath. Some people like to delete it. Some Photoshop mockups will let you delete them, other ones won't. So this one went ahead and let me delete it. So I'm just gonna click X and it's gonna save. So I'm click save and it's gonna open it up for me on what it looks like right here. So that's what my business card would look like as a Photoshop mockup. The final one is this right here. This one's got two different screens that we need to edit with, and so this is something that you might see and you might want to pay attention to. So for the first one, I've got the iPad and the iPhone 4. So I'm going to open up the iPad. This is the first one I'm going to do. You'll see there's a glare here. You can always click these and see what they do. But as you'll notice, you'll see this little paper with a square. It's the smart object little icon. So double click this, and as you can see, I don't have a font that they have. It's not going to matter. I'm going to go ahead and hit don't resolve. I can go ahead and just delete this. So I've got just a clean slate. And so for this one, I've got this little screen this logo that I had designed for someone that I wanted to be on the screen. So I went ahead and grabbed the square tool. I highlighted the section that I wanted. I didn't really want the blue E in there. I wanted the white one instead. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to come on here, and I'm just going to have to shrink this down a little bit. Then I'm just going to match it to where I think it should be. So what's cool is you can always edit this again and make any changes if you want to. So I'll hit apply. I'll go ahead and hit X right here. I'll save it. I'll come over to my screen, and as you can see, it put it right there. Kind of a cool little look. So let's go ahead and fix the iPhone. And so for this one, double click it. Same thing. I'm not going to resolve this. I don't have their font. It's not a big deal. And I'm just going to delete it. So I have what I want. And then for this one, I'm going to hit Command D to deselect what I already did. And then I'm going to come over here. I just want this E to be in there. So I'm going to get this little shape. I'm going to copy it here, and then I'm going to paste it on here and just shrink it down. Just kind of put it where I want it to be. Just kind of get it as centered as I can. They put these nice rulers here so you can kind of figure out where you want it to be. Hit apply, and I'm going to close out of this, save it, and then come over to my file, and there it is. So you can see how having two different screens can work. So that's how you get all of them onto the screens. And like I said, if I wanted to edit this one, for example, or the iPhone, I can double click this again. It brings me back to the screen. I can move it up or whatever, save it. Again, very nifty. So I'm going to go ahead and just close these really fast because we're going to want to save these. So the most important thing after you get done with all of this is to take a look at it, make sure that they're all how you want them to be, and then figure out how you want to save them. Depending on how you want them to be printed, there's a different way to save it. Most times you're going to save it as either a PDF or a JPEG. I'm sure many of you know how to do that, but just in case you don't, I can just save as, and come down here, and I can either save it as a JPEG or I can save it as a PDF. And then they'll just save how they have it. So I'll go ahead and save it to my desktop here and show you. So just hit OK. It's going to ask me how I want it to export. And then just hit yep, right there. Hide Photoshop. It's going to save it for me. And it's probably going to open it up because my computer likes to do that. Let's see, nope, it's not going to open it. But if I open this, so it comes up, you'll see it, and just zoom out a little bit. Too much. There you go. So that's how you do a Photoshop mock-up. Take a look at them. Go look online. A lot of them are free. And so there's lots of great tutorials and great ones that you can find that are really easy to use and can really help you display your work. So thanks for watching.